Welcome to Closing the Brand Gap, a podcast about creativity, branding, and the space between the quality of a business and the way the brand shows up in the world. I'm Elizabeth Gunter, founder of Creative Well Design. Over the years, working with founders and growing businesses, I started noticing a pattern. Great businesses evolve faster than their brands do. The expertise grows, the work becomes more sophisticated, but the brand communicating the work often stays stuck in an earlier version of the company. This podcast explores how businesses close that gap, align their brand with the reality of their work, and build brands that truly represent what they've become. One of the most common ways the brand gap appears is when businesses grow faster than their brands do. Over time, companies evolve, the work improves, the reputation grows, the clients become more sophisticated. But the brand representing the work often stays tied to an earlier version of the company. So the outside world sees one story, while the reality of the business has moved far beyond it. And that's where the brand gap begins to show up. But businesses don't stay the same. Over time, something shifts. The founder gains experience. The work becomes more refined. The company develops a stronger point of view. Clients begin to trust the business at a higher level. The reputation grows. And without always realizing it, the business becomes something much more sophisticated than it was in the beginning. There's a moment many founders eventually experience. It usually starts with a simple thought. This doesn't feel like us anymore. Sometimes it's the website, sometimes it's the messaging, sometimes it's the overall look and feel of a brand. But what they're really noticing is a gap. The business has grown, but the brand hasn't caught up yet. One way I like to think about this is through a restaurant. Imagine a small neighborhood restaurant. The food is good. The atmosphere is simple. The brand is casual. Over time, the chef improves the menu. The quality of the food becomes exceptional. People start telling their friends. Word spreads. Now, people are traveling across the town to eat there. The restaurant is no longer just a neighborhood spot. It has become a destination. But from the outside, it looks the same. The signage hasn't changed. The branding hasn't evolved. To someone walking by, it still looks like a small, ordinary place. So many people never walk in the door. It kind of creates a ceiling of what is possible. And not because the food isn't incredible, but because the brand never communicates that. And this isn't a mistake. It's actually a natural stage in a business growth. Most founders spend years improving their work and serving their clients. Updating the brand doesn't always feel urgent. The business is running. Clients are coming in and things are working. And until one day something feels off, the business has outgrown the brand representing it. And I've experienced this myself. My website is so outdated. It does not show the caliber of the work I can do. And I'm leaving it out there in the ethers as an example because I'm working on rebranding and recreating that website to reflect my true portfolio. And it didn't stop me from building this podcast and connecting with you and allowing you to see my rebrand as an example of how one does close the gap. So the gap becomes more noticeable at certain moments. When a business wants to raise its prices, attract higher level clients, expand into new markets, hire stronger talent, or position itself as a leader. That's when the brand starts to matter more. Because now the perception of the business needs to match the reality of what it's become, what it's hoping to align itself to. Closing the brand gap at this stage isn't about starting over, though. It's about reinventing the business. It's about bringing the brand forward, clarifying what the business has already become, making the outside experience reflect the inside reality. So when someone encounters the brand for the first time, they immediately see the level of expertise behind it, all of those years of developing the business. Businesses evolve. That's a sign of growth. But brands need to evolve with them. When they don't, the brand gap appears. And when that gap is closed, the business becomes easier to understand, easier to trust, and easier to choose. I've seen businesses where the work is exceptional, but the brand still looks like they're just getting started. And I've also seen businesses where the brand is exceptionally polished, but the experience doesn't live up to it. In both cases, there's a gap. And closing that gap is where alignment begins. Thanks for listening to Closing the Brand Gap. If this idea resonates with you, you can subscribe to the podcast for future conversations on creativity, branding, and the process of aligning a brand with the reality of a growing business. We're going to get into it. And if you'd like to learn more about brand alignment, the brand alignment method specifically, or my work with founders, you can visit our website, creativewelldesign.com. Until next time, remember, great businesses evolve faster than their brands do. Closing that gap is where alignment begins.